Hello everyone, welcome back to the Inspiring Vanessa Show. I'm your host, Inspiring Vanessa, and I'm super excited to be joined with Scarlette. Hi Scarlette, thanks so much for being here. And Scarlette is an award-winning TV presenter. How have you been doing recently?
I've been good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be on the show and I'm looking forward to all the questions that you have for me.
Same here. So, the first question I have for you is, when did you begin your presenting journey and how did you realise you were passionate about it?
So I started my presenting journey, I'd probably say about 7 years ago. I've been presenting on TV for 5 years now, but about 7 years ago I was doing musical theatre and I'd be backstage and chatting with my friends and doing like fake interviews, and I like to talk a lot. So I knew that I was thinking there has to be some way I can use my voice as a career choice. So doing musicals for 8 years, it got to a point where I was like 26, 27 and everything was aching and it was just taking longer to recover from injuries, and I just thought, I can't do this for the rest of my life. What can I do that I can do until I'm 80 or 90? So I figured I would do presenting. So I'd always do, as I said, little things backstage, and then moving on from there, I just thought this is what I want to do. So I ended up going on tour with Ellen Degeneres. We did, yeah, it was great. They did the Saturday Night Takeaway show. They took on an arena tour, and I back and danced for them, and just being with them for like 3 months totally confirmed for me that I wanted to be a TV presenter. They're amazing.
I mean, that's amazing. Like, how did you take on the laughter, because they're two very hilarious people?
Yeah,
so it would have been a very fun time to be with them, like almost 24/7 for free.
Yes,
yeah.
It was fun, but it was a lot of hard work as well. So they'd never done an arena show before, and everything. Obviously, when we watch television, especially when we watch those sort of shows, they have auto cue. But on a live show, there is no auto cue.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of script to learn, a lot of stage directions to remember. So as much as it was fun, it was also quite stressful because we had so much to learn, and it was everything was on such a big scale that it was a lot of work. So it was fun, but it was a lot of work.
Very overwhelming, I can imagine.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. And what was crazy is I remember the first night when the show opened, we're in this huge arena. I can't remember what arena we started off in, but the crowd were just rushing the stage and they were trying to get to the boys, and the security guard were trying to drag them back, and we were all dancing. We're thinking, like, you'd expect
just keep
that.
on dancing,
Yeah, keep going.
going.
You'd expect that for, you know, a big music artist, but for two TV personalities, that was for everyone. Everyone was so just shocked and taken aback, and it was great. It was a great thing, but no one expected that. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and they are fantastic as a deck. They really are.
Taken off guard, basically.
Yes, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. On to the next question is, what has been the biggest obstacle in your journey and how did you learn to overcome it?
So I think my biggest obstacle was knowing that you can't just audition for a job and get it. So with musical theatre, you'll go into an audition, you'll get picked by the casting director to go into an audition, and you know that if you've done your best, you can potentially get that job. And it doesn't work like that in presenting. So yeah, you basically have to like find out what's going on. You have to network. You need to know someone. It's very much not what you know, who you know once you get into the presenting world. So I thought once I got my first professional job, I'll just be able to get another job and another job. And it really doesn't work like that. You really have to build up your profile, build up who you are, what it is that you do, create a USP for yourself, and then you'd like to hope that people will start to bring you in for different things. So that was an obstacle for me, because I've been doing it for 5 years, and it's only really now that I'm getting offered other work. And I remember thinking, well, why am I not getting this? And why is that person getting that? And looking at other people is the worst thing you can do, because everyone has their own journey, everyone has their own route, and it doesn't happen at the same time for everybody. So understanding that it might just take a little bit longer for me to get another show, understanding that I can't just audition for something and get it, I think was the hardest thing for me to understand and move on from.
Comparison is not the best kind of thing to do or to think about when you're trying to be successful or trying to grow or pursue your goal or your dreams. So thank you for sharing that as well. And I'm glad to hear that you are getting recognition that you do deserve.
Ah, thank you.
So Scarlette, You have presented Places in the Sun, which is on Channel 4. You've also voiceovered for MTV UK, Capital Extra, and many more. So how do you prepare for doing a presenting or voiceover job?
So presenting work, especially the sort of work that I do, is normally pre-recorded. So we get given a script, and the best way to prepare is to read your script. Read it. Of course, be free with it, have a conversation. Obviously, you have your questions prepared, but I might start talking about something else, and you may want to follow on what it is I'm talking about there. So you kind of would come off script, so to speak.
Yeah.
So prepare by making sure you know what's in there, but also understand that it's okay if it doesn't go to script. It's fine. You know, have a conversation, have a discussion. That's what presenting is all about, showing personality and just being interested in the person that you're talking to. So I'd say preparation is key, but looking over a script, but also doing your research on the topic that you're talking about. So if it's an interview, you've already done your research on me, so you know anything I might say, you've already clocked it in your head, and you can ask me a specific question about that because you've researched me. So I would say definitely look at your script and definitely research the topic or the person it is that you might be talking to. When it comes to voiceovers, it's very much warm your voice up as you would if you were going to be singing a song, because you want to make sure that your voice is there. But as well, when you go in, if you need a few minutes to look over the script because you can't cold read, just say to the producer or the director, I'm just going to have a quick read over this and then let's go. The best thing with voiceover work is to try and be as fluent as possible and not sound as though you're reading something. And the best way to do that is just to read it through a couple of times, and then you can flow with it. So those would be my main 2 tips, I would say.
You need to sound as natural as possible as well.
Yes.
And people are like, okay, I cannot go off script, but then it would sound weird if I'm interviewing you and you talk about something else, but then I just go straight to the next question.
Exactly.
It almost seems like I'm ignoring what the person is saying when I should be acknowledging what they're saying. So
Exactly.
listening is very, very important. Make sure you're listening to what they're saying.
Yes.
And not just kind of just kind of ignoring them straight away, because that's not really what you want. That's not what the directors and the producers want you to do.
No, exactly. And when it comes to live presenting as well, it gets more difficult.
Oh yeah.
Because you have an in-ear piece and you have talk back. So a director will be telling you, look to camera 1, look to camera 2, but you still have to be paying attention to the person that you're interviewing, because you want to make sure you get a really good bit of information there, even though you're being told to turn to a different camera. So the more you can learn to do that when you're doing pre-recorded stuff, is the easier it will be when it comes to doing live presenting.
I mean, how has that been for you? Like your first time learning how to look at which camera and also understanding what the person is saying?
So that was very hard. The first time I did a professional live presenting job was for a company called Premier League Productions. So it was a football show. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. But what I did in preparation was I put in a headphone in my ear, and I would call my mum, who was in the same room, and then I'd interview at the time my boyfriend, and I'd get my mum to be giving me direction. So it was like a practice to see what it was like. And she would do way too much, but it was better that she did more, so that at least when I did get there and I was with the director, I had some sort of idea of what it would be like. So you can have open or closed talkback. Closed talkback is the best if you're starting off, because the director will just talk to you when he needs you. Open talkback means you can hear everything going on in the gallery, and that's when it gets a bit confusing, because they will be directing everyone and you just have to wait and listen out for when it is that they're talking to you. So my advice would be, if you are doing live presenting, start off with closed talkback, and then once you feel comfortable you can do open talkback.
I mean, like, whenever I'm just out and about and just kind of hear other people's conversations, it's like, oh no, just hear what they're saying. But then also, if I heard my name or my mum is speaking to me, I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then
so it would be a little bit overwhelming at first, but obviously it seems like you're mastering it very well and doing it properly, which is really important. I can definitely say that you're a very confident person or confident individual. So my question is, have you always been a confident person? And if not, how did you learn to grow your confidence?
So I actually, I'm not a very confident person.
Well, you come across that way,
yes.
so that's
I'm a very
part.
good actress. Do you know what? It was really tough for me. Coming from musical theatre for 8 years, I was always playing a character. So, you know, you get told to be on your mark on point 1 for this part of the routine and your point 6 for this part. These are the words that you have to say. You have to go here when you say this line, you have to go there when you say that line. So I was always directed and told what to do. When I then had to go into TV presenting, me being myself, I really struggled with, because I was so used to playing a character for 8 years that I didn't know who I was and I didn't know who my personality was. I knew it was off stage, but I didn't know how to be me in front of camera. So it really took a while for me to develop my confidence, and I went and did a course called the Landmark Forum, and it was great. Some people like it, some people don't, but I took from it what I needed, and it just showed for me that I do have confidence. It's just I've been suppressing it, and I've suppressed it because a lot of the times I would see really confident people, or they might be quite arrogant or egotistical, and I didn't like it. So I confused being confident with being egotistical. And when I realised that actually I can be confident without coming across as like a horrible person, it was fine. And then from there, my confidence started to grow, and I was very much like, this is me, you either like me or you don't like me, but I can't change for anyone, I can only be myself. And the minute you grasp that, and the minute you learn to love yourself, is the minute you'll just be confident, because you just know that you are who you are, and that's that really.
One of the quotes I actually remember when you were just talking just now is, confidence is not walking into a room thinking you're better than everyone else, it's walking into a room and accepting who everyone else is as individuals. And as you were saying, like, people always mix up confidence with being arrogant, and I can't stand arrogant people, but I always talk about confidence to other people, and everyone's like, well, how can you not like arrogant people when you can come across as an arrogant person yourself? It's like, well, no, you're just giving them the advice to be more confident.
Absolutely.
And giving them that advice, and that's their choice if they want to take it or not. But definitely, confidence is very important. It's a very essential thing, an element that people do need to obviously pursue their goals and actually have confidence and belief to do so.
Yeah, and I would say as well, if you are struggling with confidence, the best way to do it is to have that alter ego. Like Beyonce has it. Beyonce has Sasha Fierce, because she needs to be able to walk into a room or on stage and have this big alter ego which helps her get through her shows. So find an alter ego if that works for you, but also kind of acting confident. If you act confident, the person that you're acting with will naturally respond to you as though you're a confident person. Then you'll naturally respond in a confident way, and then that cycle will keep going and it will keep growing until you naturally are confident. So that would be my bit of advice if you are trying to get some confidence.
So Scarlette, you've had the opportunity to present or voice over many different things. So what has been your favourite or your ultimate favourite job or gig or event that you've done?
That is a tough one. Two spring to mind. One would definitely be Afro Hair and Beauty Show, which is where we first met, wasn't it?
Yes. An amazing show. If you haven't been to that event, definitely recommend going to it.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm not sure if it's happening this year, and if so, I'm not sure when it's happening, but hopefully if it does go ahead, I'll be hosting that one as well. But the reason that one sticks out for me is because I used to go when I was a lot younger. My auntie was a hairdresser and I used to, model for her. And I always remember thinking, oh, I'd love to host this show one day. And I was a lot younger, maybe it was like 10. So to think that I actually got to host it last year was mind-blowing for me, because it was a goal on my list that I forgot I even had from when I was, at such a young age. So to know that I actually achieved that goal without even realising was just amazing for me. So that definitely would be up there. And then I also did a piece for the One Show, probably about 3 years ago now, and it's all about the importance of black people giving blood. And I'd written the story maybe a year before I pitched it, and I was kind of umming and ahhing, do I take it in, do I not? Oh, I'm not sure, I was a bit nervous, I didn't have the confidence to do it. And I just remember saying, look, just write it, and by the time you're 30, you have to be on the show, and you have to have got one of your ideas produced and filmed and put out there. So I had a meeting with the head of the show, and it's probably about 3 months before my birthday, before my 30th, and I'd set a goal, I wanted to be on the One Show by the time I'm 30. And I remember meeting him, and the first thing he said was, just so you know, I've got no work for you. People come in here thinking that I'm going to offer them something. There's no work. I was like, okay, well, in that case, I don't have to feel nervous. We can just have a nice little chat, and it's nice to get to know you and meet you, and maybe in the future, something could work out. But by the end of the meeting, I told him about my story idea about the importance of black people giving blood, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And he said, right, I'm actually going to put you in touch with the, there's lots of different teams when it comes to the One Show, and it was the kind of science medical team. They make certain programs, certain films for the program. So, yes, I remember having that chat, and I didn't hear anything from him for ages, and I chased him up, and he's like, sorry, who are you again? I was like, I'm the one that came in about the story. And he's like, oh yeah, let me chase up the team. And then I remember my birthday was the 17th of March, and I didn't hear anything. I was like, I failed my goal. And the 27th of March, 10 days later, they called me and said that they wanted to run the story. And it was fantastic because I had been to the NHS, I developed the whole story with them. They gave us access to the biggest sorting bank in the whole of Europe, which is actually in Bristol for blood sorting. And I'd never given blood and I wanted to wait so I could do it on TV to show people what it was like. So I gave blood and we followed literally my blood from my arm into the pouch, how it travels to Bristol, how they sort it, what different components they split it up into, which is red blood cells, white blood cells, and then platelets. And then we watched it from there get sorted and then get put into someone else's body. So it was amazing seeing that journey. But once the show actually aired, NHS Give Blood got in touch with me and their figures went through the roof, like everything doubled. The people that were signing up tripled, people that were hitting their website doubled. So just to think that I had that much of an impact and I really helped people with needing blood was amazing for me. And that's when I think what I do isn't just presenting and talking, I can actually make a change. And that was really important for me to know.
I mean, that is amazing. And just to see like that, your idea from how many months ago or something that you put on maybe a vision board saying this is something I want to do, and actually seeing that plan out is excellent, it's fantastic. And what was like your first reaction to other people's reactions, if that makes sense?
That's a good question actually. I think I always surround myself with positive people, and the reaction I got was just one of, that's amazing, well done, you set a goal and you made it happen and we're so proud of you. And then that makes me feel proud of myself and make me want to go again and do it again because I want to continue making people proud of me. So it was really important that I did that piece, and it was really important that people around me believed in me and saw that anytime I do have an idea, I'm going to make it happen. And if I ever slightly deviate or slightly think, oh, I can't do it, I know they're going to push me back on and be like, come on, you can do it because you did this, so you can definitely do that.
So surround yourself with positive people, people who are going to keep pushing you forward, no matter if you want to stay in bed one day, no, you need to go to work today because you're going to inspire more people and motivate more people.
Exactly.
So make sure to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you higher. So I think one can agree, one can argue that the media industry or mainstream industry can be very hard to get into at first. So as you being a person who's obviously been through the media industry, experienced different things, if you could improve or change the media industry in one way, how would you change it and why?
I would change the fact that in the industry, there's always talk of change and refreshing and making shows more diverse. And every year I hear it, and every year there's not really much of a change. So that would be my main sticking point about the industry, is that I watch shows and they're just nowhere near as diverse as I know they could be and they should be. The fact that every year the industry says it's going to change and it doesn't. It will say we need to be more diverse, or we need new faces, and every year this is said, and it's just, it takes so long for the change to happen. I think TV at the moment doesn't really represent the viewers. It's not as diverse as it should be. And yes, it's definitely gotten better, don't get me wrong, but we're still not there yet. And I look at shows in America and I look at American TV and they're already there. Like this, and that's across media. That's whether it's TV presenting, scripted drama, reality TV shows, anything like that. If I'm in the States, I see all kinds of people on the TV, and here it's just always the same sort of faces. So that's what really frustrates me about the TV industry in the UK, is that they know they need to make the change, but they're not changing quick enough, which makes me think, do they really want to make the change, or are they just saying it and they're just ticking boxes here and there just to keep them, on the right path, so to speak. So that's my main bugbear with the industry, and that's something that I really want to see change.
Or perhaps like they just want it to look better for the show and not for actually the people who deserve to be recognised in a way, because people are like, okay, I want this show to be more diverse. But are you saying that from your heart, or are you saying that because other people want to see it?
Right, exactly.
And if they don't want it for themselves, then obviously there isn't going to be a change, unfortunately. But I mean, any show, any movie should give more diversity. And I definitely agree with you as well. You always, as you were saying, like Anton Deck, or just these specific presenters, always being seen in different shows. Like, we want to see some new people, we want to see some new originality, new faces, and kind of learn from those people and the way they present. So I definitely agree with you on that one. And it's super hard to get into, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So open the doors, give people opportunities. There are fantastic people out there, and also, I just want to make it clear that, you know, people from a BAME background, Black, Asian and minority ethnicity, we don't want to be given the job because we are Black or we're of colour. We just want the opportunity to be seen the same way other people have the opportunity to be seen, and get the job because we're good enough. And that's another frustration, is that at the moment we're just ticking boxes. You know, we need a Black person on this, let's tick a box. Or we need a disabled person, let's tick a box. Just bring in the people that you think could be right for the job and give the right person the job, but actually give us the opportunity. That's what's frustrating.
Not just kind of basing on someone's ethnicity or the colour of their skin.
Or their image, exactly.
Yeah, or their image. It's like, oh, this person looks a bit prettier, or they look like they would look better with this other presenter, so we're going to pick them, even though somebody who could be 10 times better isn't going to get the job because they are seen in a certain way.
Exactly.
So that's something we need to change in the industry for sure. So fingers crossed we'll see something in the future change. Well, not even in the future, just very rapidly, and see that difference actually happening on television. So the Inspiring Vanessa Show is also about bringing these amazing individuals like yourself and actually showing you guys and your journeys to young people. So we also talk about relevant topics and hearing your opinions on them as well. So what is your opinion on the BLM or Black Lives Matter movement, and what can we do to support it?
I think it's very important, first of all, that people understand why we're saying Black Lives Matter. I know when it came out, everyone was saying, yeah, but all lives matter. And we completely understand that. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. But what we're saying is that at this point in time, Black lives matter because we're the ones that are being treated as though our lives don't matter. So it's important to understand that, for example, there's a street of houses, house number 10 is burning down. All houses matter, but at the moment, house number 10 matters most because it's burning down, and we need to help that situation and rectify it. So it's not as though, as Black people or people of colour, we're being racist and we don't care about other races. It's not that at all. It's just we can see how differently we're being treated, and that is not acceptable. So we have to make a change. A lot of people have said, well, why does this movement have to have happened now in such a specific way because of George Floyd? Well, because actually we have a lot of cameras now, we have a lot of social media. To see someone killed in that way, of course it's going to be a catalyst for change, because that's awful to see. Whether you're Black, white, Asian, mixed, whatever, that is not acceptable. And if that had to happen, you know, rest in peace. But if that had to happen for hopefully more lives to not be taken in that way, or taken in any way, then so be it. You know, I think it's important that we understand the reason this movement is happening is because years of suppression, years of oppression needs to change, and we need to just be on an equal playing field. And unfortunately, there is always going to be a hierarchy, and we're always going to be seen as lesser than, and that's what we need to start addressing. And it's been great because conversations are being had, people are feeling uncomfortable, people are feeling out of their comfort zone, and that is how it should be, because we need to discuss things, and we all need to understand that there is definitely an unequal bias here, and that's what we need to address, and that's what we need to change.
I mean, I 1000% agree with you as well. And it always comes down to this, not even idea, but this thing called white privilege. And everyone's like, oh, what about this case? And for example, we have Madeleine McCann, and her case has been going on for several years now. And I think almost like £1 billion or dollars has been spent on trying to find who the kidnapper is or who the killer is. But then we also have, for example, Shukri, and she died last year because of her white classmates. She was a refugee from Somalia, and her white classmates basically dragged her by her hijab into a river, and not even like a day after they found her body, the Birmingham Police Department already cancelled the case. They just said it was a tragic accident. And I was going to say that Madeleine McCann, if she was Black, we would never have heard about her on the news. They would never have put the same effort in, and that is so unfortunate. Like, this is the world we live in nowadays. And like, how have we actually come to this as a nation? Because we are all humans. Whether you are disabled, whether you're Black, whether you're white, we are all skeletons underneath. We all bleed the same. So why is it that we're being treated differently? It's a real question here. Not why do all lives matter or why do Black lives matter? Why are we being treated differently? And where has this actually started, unfortunately? But I do agree with you. And how can we actually support it? What can we do from our homes or just in general, and actually do something towards helping the movement and actually making this a revolution?
I think what's best is just we need to keep talking. We need to keep, and our social media is great for times like this because there are so many resources. Find books, read up on books, expand your knowledge. Speak to friends if you have people of colour that are your friends, black, mixed, whatever. Speak to them, ask them about their experiences of it. Racism can come in so many different ways. If we understand what racism is, then hopefully we can change that and not be racist. We're not saying that only white people are racist against black people. Everyone's racist against everyone. So let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's be open, and let's actually stop and understand or try and understand it from someone else's point of view. Because I would never know what it's like to walk in your shoes. You would never know what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone that's white. That person wouldn't know what it's like to walk in my shoes. So let's talk and have the discussion and never shut anything down, because we can't. I don't know what your experience is, So the more we talk, the more we learn, the more we research, and the more we try and gain knowledge on certain topics, I think the best will be.
I mean, totally agree with you there. So sign petitions, raise awareness, speak up about it, use your social media platforms to actually help this movement and actually support it and be a part of this change, because us as the younger generation, we have grown up obviously looking at society and seeing racism be a predominant thing, and we don't want to grow up in a society that hasn't changed while we have been growing up, if that makes sense. So we don't want to change while the world hasn't been changing with us. So I feel like this revolution or this decade is definitely going to be the start of something, and I pray, I wish, I hope that this is actually going to be something different. It's actually going to be the beginning of a revolution. Yeah,
I totally agree, and it's your generation as well that will help make that change. So I'm looking forward to what you're going to do. I mean, you're doing amazing things now, so I'm not worried at all.
So I feel like a lot of kids are going to be thinking, okay, Scarlette is amazing, she's excellent, she's incredible, but how can I, from a young age, start or begin into the media industry? Where do you need to begin?
So I would say find out what it is that you're passionate about first of all. I can talk all day about football, so I know that that's something I'm passionate about. I can talk loads about property, it's something that I love and I'm always researching. So find out, we call it a USP, your unique selling point, and that will make you stand out from anybody else. So if you know that you want to be a presenter from a young age, and you know that you can talk loads about, LOL dolls, LOL dolls, for example, great, then that's going to be your niche. And it's easy to set up a YouTube channel, to set up an Instagram account, and just talk to camera, talk to your friends, do interviews, just keep practicing. If you are underage, speak to your parents and make sure that they give consent and they can help you as well. I think it's fantastic that your mum helps you with a lot of stuff, and it's great because you have an adult's point of view as well, an outsider's view that can help you with what it is that you're doing. So I think it's important that you do speak to your elders and just find what it is that you love and talk about that, because you can never get bored of that.
I mean, just doing what you love is amazing in itself, and people seeing that as a job, people always say if you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in life.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like work. So whether you're 7 years old or 13 years old like I am right now, do not let anybody else discourage you because of what they think you should be doing, because age is just a number at the end of the day, and it's just a limitation that we see for ourselves. So as long as you keep following your heart and having that own self-belief, that self-courage, then you can get where you want to be. So Scarlette, you have been wonderful on this interview. Thank you for sharing all your information and your journey to us. So where can we watch you or listen to you, and where can we find you on social media to follow your journey?
Okay, so you can find me on Channel 4 on A Place in the Sun. You can find me on Channel 5. I've done a few shows. One was all-inclusive holidays when they go wrong. Dun dun dun. So yeah, when all-inclusive holidays go wrong, when 5-star holidays go wrong. I've just finished filming a new one on Channel 5, which is how to add value to your property, like 10 top tips. So keep an eye out for that one as well. And then if you want, you can listen to me on Capital Extra. I'm the voice of Capital Extra. Also the voice of MTV Movies, and I do quite a lot for Nickelodeon and Disney Channel. So yes, keep an ear out for me. And then if you do want to follow me in my journey, you can follow me on Instagram, which is at Miss Scardoug, so Scarlette Douglas for short put together. And on Twitter, I'm at Scardoug. So yeah, you can follow me in those places. Well, again, Scarlette, thank you so much for being my guest today. You were excellent.
and I hope to see what you're going to be achieving in the future. And thank you for motivating all of us, sharing what you do and what you've actually been through in the media industry. And we can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to watch the previous episodes and stay tuned for future episodes coming soon with more inspirational guests. We'll speak to you soon. Bye everyone.
Bye.